It's Friday night, everybody. You know what that means. It's Friday night. Let's have some fun. Let's get together and play a ton.
Hi, I'm John. I'm one of the content creators for Friday Night Games. And at Friday Night Games, we want to introduce you to our love of the hobby by educating and entertaining you through our board gaming adventures. Our podcast lands every Friday, and we create content for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you can always check out our website at fridaynight.games. Today's episode is sponsored by tabletoprenaissance.ca, who have their web store up and running. So check out tabletoprenaissance.ca for your board gaming and tabletop adventure needs. On today's show, Matt is on vacation, so I am taking the reins of the podcast. So I apologize in advance for you having listened to my voice the entire time. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about why I love playing games with my kids. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about memories I have of playing board games as a kid, why I think it's important to play games with your kids if you have them, some of the favorite kids games that I love to play with my kids that we have, and I want to dive into 3 games that I love playing with my kids that aren't kids games. All right. So growing up, I had all the classics. I had like Monopoly, I had Jenga, I had Scrabble, Game of Life. But I think one of my favorite board games I had growing up was the Jurassic Park game by, I believe it was Milton Bradley, based off the movie. I remember the giant board, playing that game, trying, I don't know if I actually played the game correctly, to be honest, but taking the dinosaur minis they had and pretending to eat the characters, etc. But the one thing I don't remember is actually playing board games with my parents. Now, this is no fault of their own. Like, they had a business they were running. My sister babysat me a lot. I remember playing games with her, but I don't have that connection or memory of playing board games with my parents. And I think that sucks so much. And I think that's why I want to play more board games with my kids. I want to be able to create those memories, have that fun, and when they look back at like growing up and playing board games, hopefully they continue to play board games through their adulthood, that they remember that it started at home with us and just the amount of fun that they had playing. And I really hope that I just really want to create those connection and memories with them. And that's what the board gaming hobby is, right? You invite your friends over to your house, you have a grand old time, you're laughing, you're talking, you're connecting with each other, you're being welcoming to everybody. And I really think this is a really good stepping stone for social aspect for kids. And there's a ton of benefits to playing board games with your kids, obviously. So yeah, I wanted to dive into some of the benefits of playing board games with your kids and, why I think it's important. So obviously the first thing is board games offer opportunities for early learning. So as your kid develops, they learn, hand-eye coordination, dexterity, moving cards and pieces around the board, learning to wait your turn. And these are just like simple rules that, we kind of take for granted as we grow up that you learn as a young kid. And they're very important lessons to learn. Board games get your kids to think. So especially games like strategy games are super useful. So there's a game that we play. One of the games that I'm going to mention later that I love playing with my kids that aren't kids games is a good strategy game for this, and strategy really helps with the executive function skills, which, planning, organizing, making decisions, really helps develop that skill in the kids' brains. They also help boost language. So when you're talking about board games, your interaction with everybody, you have to remember several pieces of information, who did what and where. Maybe it could help with reading, maybe some reading comprehension, but it's just having fun, without being like, you need to do your homework, blah, 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 or whatever, right? I think board games really help, at least for me, my kid focus. When you're playing without interruptions, it really helps that attention span grow. When we sit down with my kids, we always try to play the full game. Try not to have my phone. I try not to have any other distractions. Like, we're playing the board game. That is what we're doing in that moment. And we do it from start to finish as best we can. All right. I do have a 2 and a 5-year-old. Attention spans aren't the greatest, but, we do what we can with little distractions. They teach teamwork. Especially if you're playing a cooperative game together. Cooperative games where you're working together for a common goal. And that's a really awesome way to teach teamwork. Board games help soothe anxiety. This is a huge one for me. Because board games are structured, kids can know what to expect from them, especially if you play like a similar game with them all the time. It can really help that interpersonal relationships. And for kids who struggle coming up, to talking with people, can always introduce a board game. Hey, do you want to play this board game with me? And that can help them promote that opportunity to talk. You can even do like guessing games or something like that, right? They also show that it's okay to lose. Sometimes board games are competitive and there's a clear winner and a clear loser, and it's really trying to build that tolerance, because it's really difficult to lose a game or lose anything as a kid and then easily go to like temper tantrum. But being able to show that, hey, this is a part of life. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. You might win, I might win, I might lose. We want to make sure we're playing board games by the rules, so that when the ending comes and they lose, you can also even say to them, hey, I'm very proud of you for staying calm. And I saw that you did a move that you didn't like, and next time you'll do a better move or something like that, right? It's always good to have that conversation with them and show them that it's okay to lose the game. And honestly, like a big thing now with all technology, board games are a great way to unplug, turn off the TV, turn off my phone, and just connect with my family. And it's great. I think it's shown tremendous growth, at least with how I connect with my kids on the daily basis. And I absolutely love it. So being able to create those memories with my kids has been such a important part of my life the past couple of years. So I really hope I continue as they grow up, being able to play, getting them to like Gloomhaven or playing D&D with them, and really, really just keep on building that connection with them. All right. So since I do have a 2 and a 5-year-old, we do have a lot of kids games in our house, and I want to highlight 2 of my favorite ones and why I like them so much. So the first one is The Color Monster. It's published by Devir Games, and it's based off the book of the same name. In The Color Monster, you are trying to help this monster who is confused about their feelings kind of figure out what they're feeling. It's a memory game. So basically you're moving through colored spaces on the board, and you have to say what you're feeling based on the colors. So like blue represents sadness, black is fear, red is anger, green is calm, yellow is happy, I believe. So basically if you land on sad, it's like, oh, it makes me sad when this happens. What I love about this game, it allows you to talk to your kid about feelings without that expectation around. So what I love about this game is that it allows you to talk to your kids about feelings without that expectation of you have to give me an answer about why you're feeling this way right now, which can cause a lot of stress and anxiety in the kids, right? It's hard to talk about your feelings, but it's easy in this game. So what a good thing too, it's a really good form of communication. So as a parent playing this game, I can land on, the blue space for sad, and I can be like, hey, it really makes me sad when you don't listen to me when I'm asking you to do this specific thing, right? So I'm not like reprimanding them in the moment of, doing something or hey, it makes me mad when you do this. It's showing them that, hey, when you're doing this behavior, it doesn't make me feel good. So let's talk about that. And as vice versa too, right? So they can say the same thing. Hey, it makes me sad when you yell at me, or, it makes me happy when we play games together. But if they don't want to talk about their feelings during the game, you can always flip it and be like, what makes the color monster happy? What makes the color monster sad? And sometimes that's a good way to reverse psychology, I guess, to get them to talk about their feelings through the color monster. So Color Monster by Devir Games, I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's a great way to talk about feelings with your kids. The next game, I actually just recently picked it up, is Rhino Hero by Haba Games. And what I love about this game, especially playing it with my 2-year-old, is because it's such a great dexterity game that my 2-year-old has a very hard time putting the cards on without tumbling the tower. And I just love it. I think it's just a great, quick and easy game to play. It's fun. We laugh the entire time. They love the Rhino meeple. And I think dexterity games are amazing to play. We also have Animal Upon Animal, which is a great one as well. So yeah, Color Monster, Rhino Hero, Animal Upon Animal. I know I threw an extra game in there. But if you're looking for great games to play with your kids, those are some that I suggest. All right, so now to the best part of the podcast. Sometimes playing games with kids, especially kids games, can be very repetitive, and sometimes it's just not fun, because you want to be challenged when you're playing board games sometimes. So these are 3 games I love playing with my kids that aren't kids games. So the first one that I introduced to my kid was Fireball Island. The Curse of Volcar. I have the re-implementation by Restoration Games. Basically, you are on this giant 3D island, trying to collect treasures and take pictures of certain like landscape and stuff while trying to avoid fireballs being spewed out of Volcar, who didn't like his gems stolen. So what this game brought out with my kid, we didn't fully play it by the rules, obviously, but they loved shooting the marbles down Volcar and watching everything get knocked over. They love the big 3D board, the texture of everything. But don't take it from me. Let's listen to what my kid had to say about it.
That the marbles go down and knock everybody over from the big giant monster.
So that's Fireball Island, The Curse of Volcar, a restoration of the classic 1986 game that plays with 30 to 45 minutes with 2 to 4 players, 5 with an expansion. I love playing this game with my kid just for like the chaos of just tossing the marbles down Volcar and watching everything get knocked over. All right, the second game, I was a little hesitant of bringing this game to the table with my kid just because it is just a big strategy game that I wasn't sure how they were going to handle. So the second game is Gods Love Dinosaurs by Pandasaurus Games. And basically what you're doing is creating this ecosystem where everything needs to eat. So you've got the prey, which are frogs, rats, and rabbits that multiply as you move along through the game. Then you have predators, which are tigers and eagles. They eat the prey, which spawns more predators. And then you have the dinosaurs that eat everything, but create more dinosaurs if they eat predators. So the object of the game is to manage your ecosystem so that when it's that turn for the predator to eat, say the tigers or eagles, that they have enough prey to eat along their path so that they don't get eliminated from the board, because if they can't eat, they die out. But every time you eat a prey, you spawn a new predator. When it comes to the dinosaurs' turn to eat, they can eat anything, but if they eat the predators, they lay eggs that eventually can spawn more dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs have to end on mountain regions in order to not die out. So building this ecosystem and strategizing how this is all going to work was pretty complex for my kid to grasp. They did a pretty awesome job of like building the modular board and the ecosystem. So the first game I had with them, playing this game I did, was like, hey, you should, I didn't really tell them what to do, but I was like, hey, if you want your animals to survive, you can go here to here and eat along the way. But I did allow them to like freehand a lot of the stuff, and they did it pretty good. But what amazed me was the second time we played the game, which was months later, they still recalled how to play, and they got the strategy like pretty much down pat. For like a 5-year-old to like grasp what everything going on was pretty awesome to see. And we played the game very slowly, but I think this is a game I'm going to keep bringing to the table more often, because I have a ton of fun with it, and I think my kid did as well. So here are their thoughts on it.
That we just get to play it together, earning the most points by feeding the dinosaurs predators. You just get another egg.
All right, and the last game I want to talk about is Tsuro by Calliope Games. This game is a tile laying game where your goal is to keep your token on the board longer than anyone else's. The board's going to fill up with tiles, and it's going to become harder. It's going to be harder because, when you put on a tile that's next to your piece, it's going to move to wherever that tile lands. So what is awesome about this game is I've never beat my kid at it. So we played about 5 or 6 times and they win. I do not know how. It's not like I'm letting them win. I'm actually trying to beat them, and I physically have not. I cannot, and I don't know why. And I think it's hilarious, and they think it's hilarious as well. But this game, what I love about it is that it's that strategy element of it, right? It's letting them think and make decisions. And if they make the right ones, like, praise them. If they make the wrong one, hey, let's do better next time. And I just love this game for them. And let's hear what they have to say about it, because they love beating me.
Winning the game. Because I just like that Dad loses and I win, because I like that. So, because I beat Dad a lot of time, and that I'm really good at it.
All right, so those are my kids' thoughts on Fireball Island, Gods Love Dinosaurs, and Tsuro. Again, if you have kids, I highly recommend spending at least one night a week playing board games with them, really connecting with them, having fun, creating those memories. And I think that'll go a long way for your relationship with them when they're older. And I can't wait to, honestly, like I said earlier, getting into Dungeons and Dragons or some type of role-playing game with my kids, because I think they'll love it. I really wanted to get my kids' perspective on playing board games with me and see how they enjoy it and what they think about it. So let's hear what they have to say.
That we just have fun together and that we just enjoy.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of my podcast, sweetheart. And I'm glad you love playing board games with me. I really hope you enjoyed my take on playing board games with kids. If you have any questions or want any more game recommendations, you can always message us on Instagram at Friday Night Games _official. You'll talk to me there. I have got great recommendations for all ages. So if you need anything, just let me know. All right, if you like what you hear, don't forget to follow us on your favorite streaming platform. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can check us out on Instagram at Friday Night Games _official, Twitter at Friday Night GMS, TikTok at Friday Night Games, and as always, our website, FridayNight.Games. Again, I am John, and it's Friday night, so let's have some fun.